So welcome back. So now we have our automatically generated person status controller. I just started the application. I just want to show you what we actually got out of the box. So we got the views of course, some kind of read all view where we can see in the list. Let me just try and create one. Here's the create view. Let's just say at work. That could be a status. I'll create that, and now the create view is here. The at work here is the first status. So we got this is going to be a list of items that we get down here. I can edit that list to say at home instead, if that's what I want to be called instead. There we go, so the edit is working. I can go to details to do a single read with the name and everything running back to the list here, and I can do a delete to remove it again. And I'll keep it there for now because I want to keep this, and I'll just add one more, and I'll say at work, and I'll say busy in school. There we go. Now we have a few ones, and the cool thing is these are actually persisted now in the database. So if you shut down your application and start it again, they will still be available. And that's what you got from the auto-skip folder solution using the entity framework combined with the MVC, so that we could actually auto-generate a full page here under the URL of person status right now. So that's pretty cool. We got our first controller running on the entity framework, but there is a but, because right now we are actually not using our beautiful facade. We have just auto-generated into using the app context directly inside the controller. And if we want to make a layered application, this is not the right solution, because we actually have to say, instead of actually using the context like this, just like we did with the list, we're going to have to go in manually and say, well, instead I want to actually use my facade. So I'm just going to do that now. So what I want to do is I want to add just a private, here I just want to add a private manager, iManager, that points to our person status. Now this is not a requirement as of such. If you don't like the layered architecture, you don't have to do this. I just think it's most of the time it makes sense to layer your application if you want to reuse some things and you want to split code up. But again, it's not a must. It's not something the code requires. It's just a good approach in my mind. So here we have the PSM now, the person status manager, and now we just have to run through it. If we want to read all the person list statuses, we'll just do read. That's all we have to do. Let's go down. To do a delete, what do we have to do? Well, we need to actually not, here we just find the person, we can just keep doing that, but using the person manager instead by saying person manager get read. Then we can read a single person using the ID, and here we have to do, remember this is a nullable ID, so we have to do value here to actually pull out the actual value of that ID. We scroll further down. That was the details one, that was very simple. Scroll further down, here we have the create one. Again, we need to first find the person. Here we have to add the person that we want to create, but luckily again we already in our person manager we have a create function. So we'll just grab that one and we'll insert the person we want to create, and he's called the status, person status here. There we go. That's all we had to do there. So notice I'm just going in and overriding the different areas. Here we have to find the person that we want to edit. So I'll do a read here to find that person using the ID's value. There we go. Now he's found, and we can send him into the actual edit function. All of this, if you want to go over that, go back to the previous video series about the MVC Basic, because that's actually where we have all of this information. But here I'm going in and saying I want to update the specific person status using the manager. Scrolling down, I'll do the read again here for the specific person manager, and I'll go in and I'll find him like this, and I'll say id.value again. That's actually for the delete part here. Scrolling further down, then when I have found him, I want to remove him, and we can actually just again send in the ID directly by saying delete, sending in the ID from the outside. And the dispose, we don't need that because we are using the using keyword, so it will automatically dispose the entity framework. And now when that is done, it seems we have an error here. Let me just figure that one out. We need a semicolon here. Let's go to the top of our application, because now we don't need using the context directly, and now we have a layered application. That was all it took, right? And next lesson, let's just run the layered application and have a talk about the different steps we just did. See you in the next lesson.